Remember when you were young and you used to say to your parents, "Mom, I think there are monsters in my closet." But, however, what if I were to actually tell you you could find out yourself? What's good, YouTubers slash Instagrammers? Welcome to my next video on Startling on Cinemas. That's Cinemas with an S, and today I'll be giving you my review on Monsters Incorporated. As part of my Pixar series that I give you reviews on Pixar movies on Tuesday. Now, before I begin, if you are new to this video or to this playlist, perhaps, don't you forget to like, share, subscribe, leave a comment on the section below. Most importantly, watch and click that bell to keep up to date with all the videos that have come later in the future. And the same thing goes if you're on Instagram. Like, follow, share, leave a comment on the section below if you have anything to say about your favorite film that I may be critiquing. And most importantly, watch it from beginning to end. Let's get to it. So, releasing after Toy Story 2, Monsters Incorporated is the largest scare factory in the monster world, and James P. Sullivan, voiced by John Goodman, is one of its top scarers. Sullivan is a huge, intimidating behemoth with blue fur, large purple spots, and horns. And his scare assistant, best friend, and roommate is Mike Wazowski, voiced by Billy Crystal, a green, opinionated, feisty, little one-eyed monster. Visiting from the human world is Boo, a tiny girl who goes where no human has ever gone before. Now, here's my take on the story. Monsters Incorporated, first of all, Monsters Incorporated, you know how I said yesterday Spider-Man was my introduction to Marvel? Monsters Incorporated was my introduction to Pixar because it came out in 2001. Because I'm a Christmas baby in 2001. And by the way, that's my 19th birthday is coming up on December 25th, so shout out to that. Anyway, so yeah, it was my first Pixar movie, and it had me compelled to watch the animated series ever since, the animated franchise ever since Monsters Incorporated. And of course, I saw the ones before, because you can't see something that you started in your generation without seeing the very first. Anyway, it is certainly one of the more tonally, not tonally, I said it right, it is a word, tonally, even Pixar films. It's one of those tonally even Pixar films. And what I mean is that it offers an equal amount of interesting world building, funny characters, heartfelt emotions, and a good message about stereotypes. So yeah, if you were just one of those Pixar viewers that never really watch Pixar movies like that where you look for a lesson, but you just want to have a good adventure, that's okay too. But yes, I did mention how these Pixar movies have life lessons to them that we can all learn, that we pretty much learn anywhere else. But the lesson here is to look past stereotypes. And I will say that as we continuously get through these Pixar films, you really start to become satisfied with how many new things that Pixar embraces and takes advantage of with the computer software that creates something miraculous. Whether we're talking the ocean, the jungle, the racetrack, or the Midwest, a kitchen, space, whatever, everything in between. But in Monsters Incorporated, it was a huge step up to see a world populated with only monsters, because at the time they can only, they animated polished toys and insects, but now they've stepped up to creatures, and now they've had all this software where they can create these abnormal looking monsters and furry creatures, which I know took a whole lot of months to work on. I don't know if I got the math right, but I think it took approximately 500,000 hairs on Sully to animate him. So, yeah, it was a huge step up to see this world only residing monsters. And as a kid, it was cool to think about how monsters would have lived their lives on the other side of the closet whenever they are not on the clock at Monsters Incorporated. It was creative to see monsters using a child's high vocals as the source to create and generate renewable energy in their world, while at the same time treating the kids like they are a disease. Like this is we kind of see this precaution taken seriously in the prequel sequel, Monsters University. The story explores that problem of prejudice and how it separates us and they soon learn that the kids are not as what they expected to be. The children are simply the other end of the spectrum, the characters. Now, this is the point where the characters, the protagonists in Pixar movies start to get better because Flick, sure, he was a great protagonist. Don't get me wrong, Flick was a good protagonist. He was one of those protagonists who was always turned down for his ideas. But as far as Pixar protagonists goes, the weight and the memorability, or I don't know, but like the just how cool it is to watch all of the pair ups we see, like protagonist buddy cop pair ups, you know. But we all understand how iconic the Pixar protagonists are and how many great moments they each have. Like, I believe that Sully and Mike are the first pair outside of Woody and Buzz Lightyear to be compelling in their own way. And the buddy cop trope, the buddy trope formula has really helped Pixar movies to thrive. You know, ever since then, we get Marlon and Dory, Mr. Incredible and Frozone or his family, Lightning McQueen and Tow Mater, Remy and Linguini, Wally and Eve, and the list goes on. The voice acting of the movie, the voice acting of John Goodman and Billy Crystal feels like it flows naturally because it is a parallel to their characters. We know that Mike and Sully are nothing more than the top scarers and scaring assistants, but when Boo literally walks into their world, like literally walks through their door, their perspectives slowly start to change. And like I said, the lesson we learn here with the characters is to see past the stereotypes and to see something else. Because the monsters are constantly told that kids carry a disease, but they soon start to embrace Boo and to keep her safe while they try to get her back home. On the other hand, the antagonists of the story, the fourth antagonist, or the fourth set of antagonists in Pixar, Mr. Waternoose and Randall Boggs, refuse to look past the alienated nature of the humans. Mr. Waternoose plans to keep the company alive with renewable energy by any means necessary, even if it means kidnapping thousands of children across the world, and completely overpower the other society, while Randall would do the same thing to make himself the top scarer in the business. But in the end, we learned how much power acceptance can have on those that are different than us. Rotten Tomatoes gives Monsters, Inc. a 96% score. Not surprised, because most of these Pixar movies have a score over 90, which is great. That just goes to show how much these critics love these so-called kids movies. Monsters Incorporated captures slightly more than the first two Toy Story movies did. It has hilarious characters, fine world development, a lesson in stereotypes and how much disparity it can bring, and how your differences can help us to unite. I will give this movie 9 SOs out of 10. So that is my review on Monsters Incorporated. I told you guys I would be able to squeeze it in today. I know I had a long day. I had a lot of priorities to take care of, but I knew inevitably I will be able to bring my review on Monsters Incorporated, and I did. So I'll see you guys tomorrow with my next review on Way Back Wednesday. Good night.